Okay, standard review. It says solve for the x variable. Okay, I see three numbers in a variable. Here I just need to cross multiply and divide. So I'm going to find the product by taking 9 times 25. It's 225. And then I divide whatever that is by the 2, and that tells me what the x is going to be equal to. 112.5. Okay, now my next one's a little bit more complicated. Okay, I can't just cross multiply and divide, so the backup plan is to go A, B, C, D. Okay, so I set up my equation, just two parentheses on each side, and then I take A times B over here, and then C times D over here. So A is just the value of 3, B is 1x minus 4, C is 2, and D is 3x plus 4. So I have three numbers over here. I'm going to need to distribute my 3. If you want to make the 4 negative, that's fine. So 3 times 1x is 3x. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. So I'm going to subtract 12 since it's negative. And over here, you got to distribute your 2. 2 times 3x is 6x, and 2 times 4 is 8. Okay, now with that done, we have two x's, so we need to mark the smaller one and take that one to 0 by subtracting it. So we have negative 12, and then 6x minus 3x is 3x, and then we have plus 8. So here's x, it's being multiplied by 3, but first, before I divide by 3, I got to minus the 8. Okay, negative 20 minus 8 is negative 12 minus 8 is negative 20 equals 3 times x. So then I divide by 3. Divide by 3. So on a calculator, negative 20 divided by 3 is negative 6.6 repeating. Okay, there we have it. Okay, now percent sentences. You won't go wrong if you just remember how to set up the proportion. It's percent over 100, and then is over of. So my percent is 63. Okay, after the word of, we have 150. So that means I don't have the is, that's x, and then I can just cross multiply and divide. I can take 150 times 63 divided by 100, and I got 94.5. So x equals 94.5. Okay, number 4, 150% of what number is 34? And is of. So what's my percent? My percent's 150. After the word of, it says what number. So the of is what I'm solving for. Then we got 34. Then I cross multiply and divide. 34 times 100 divided by 150 is 22.6 repeating. Okay, what percent of 32 is 40? So you got percent, 100% is of. So I don't have my percent, so that's going to be where the x is placed. And after the word of, it says 32. And then 40 belongs up here. So I cross multiply and divide. 40 times 100 divided by 32 is 125. So x equals 125% because the percent's what I didn't have. Okay, number 6, finding x values on similar shapes. So I have to solve for x. Again, we make proportions. X goes with 18. Then I go back to the x triangle, and 5 goes over 7.5. X 18, 5, 7.5. Cross multiply and divide. I got 12, so x equals 12. Okay, unit conversions. Convert 45 pounds to ounces. Okay, it says 16 ounces equals 1 pound. Ounces, pounds. Put them in the same order. So it says 2 ounces. So the ounces is what we don't have, and then we have 45 pounds. So cross multiply and divide. 16 times 45 divided by 1 is 720. So x equals 720 ounces. Okay, on to the next problem, number 9. Or number 8, actually, I misnumbered it. In the first 4 games of the season, a soccer team scored 10 goals. If this trend continues, how many goals will the team score in the remaining 18 games of the season? So we have games and goals. So in 4 games, they had 10 goals. In 18 games, I'm trying to find out how many goals they scored. Now, if they played 0 games, nobody's scoring any goals. So this 0-0 at the top tells me I'm using proportions, P-O-R-T-I-O-N-S. So this is a proportion. Now, if there's a time unit, that goes on the bottom, but there's no time unit, okay? So it doesn't really matter the order you set the labels, because a lot of people are saying, well, I don't know what goes where. Well, set up the labels first, okay? So just go games, goals. Again, since I don't have a time unit, it doesn't matter what's on top, what's on bottom. And then the same order here, games, goals, okay? So you're finding how many goals were scored. So you're solving for x. Okay, how many games were there at the end? 18. And then I put 4, 10. And then I'm ready to solve it. 10 times 18 divided by 4. 45. So we got 45 goals. Again, if you don't know where to place stuff, you got to put your labels, okay? So 4 and 10, and then 18 and x. Okay, number 10. I can paint 3 statues in 20 minutes. My friend can paint 1 statue in 10 minutes. How long will it take us to paint 12 statues working together? So look at the rates up here on the table. You got 20 minutes and you can do 3 statues, but if you work 0 minutes, 0 statues get painted. Takes him 10 minutes to paint 1 statue. If he works 0 minutes, he gets 0 statues painted. So 0, 0, 0, 0. So that means it's proportions. Again, set up your labels, okay? You have statues in minutes, so the time goes in the bottom. Statues, statues. And then come down here, what am I solving for? It says minutes equals, so x is my minutes. And how many statues do we have to paint? We have to paint 12. Okay, now we got 3 and 20, 3 statues, 20 minutes. But then there's another one, 1 statue in 10 minutes, so I have to add to that. 1, 10. So I add these two together, 1/10 plus 3/20. I got 1/4, so it's 1/4 equals 12 over x. Cross multiply and divide. 4 times 12 divided by 1 is 48. So 48 minutes. Okay, fractions and percentages. 4/7 of all animals in the park were birds. If there were 200 birds, how many animals were there? Okay, so you're going to set up your proportion. Now you put 4 over 7. Don't put 4/7 on top by itself. It's 4 on top, 7 on bottom. Now what trait defines the fraction? The fact that they were birds. So this is were birds, and this is total. Okay? Were birds, total. Now, the 200. Does it say those are birds? If it does, we put it here. If it doesn't, we put it here. Well, it says they were birds, so we're going to put it here, and then I'm solving for the total. So cross multiply and divide. So I take 7 times 200 divided by 4, and that's 350. How many animals? So it'd be 350 animals. 200 were birds. That means it's 4/7. Okay, number 12. A racer has completed 5% of his race. If he has completed 10 laps, how many laps does the race have? Okay, so there's a trait. Now it's percent. It doesn't matter which one you put the percent. So we put 100% and 5%. What trait defines the 5%? Completed. So write completed and total. Completed and total. Now, if the 10 say we've completed those, it goes on top. If it doesn't, it goes on the bottom. Well, I clearly see it says he completed 10, so 10 goes on top, and we're solving for x on the bottom. So I cross multiply and divide. 10 times 100 divided by 5. 10 times 100 divided by 5 is 200. So it has 200 laps. Okay, number 13. A watch that used to cost $89.99 is marked up in price by 12%. Find the new price of the watch. Now, there's no trait here because it's an increase in price. So you set up blank times blank equals blank. This is my percentage. And we have before and we have after. Now, to get your percent, you take 100% and you mark it up 12%. So you add 12%. 100 plus 12 is 112%. Now move the decimal twice, and that's 1.12. Okay, now we're finding the new price of the watch means you're finding the after. You don't have the after. So X. So $89.99 is before. Sorry about that, not great wording. It should say find the new price of the watch after it's marked up. So we're solving for the after. So you multiply these two. Remember, if we don't have the before but we have the after, we divide. So 89.99 times 1.12. It's going to be we're talking money, so it's $100.79. Okay, then number 14. Two cars travel for the same amount of time. The first car travels 80 miles per hour. The second car travels 75 miles per hour. If the faster car travels 40 miles further, find the distance traveled by each car. So these tell me I need my distance, speed, time table. Okay, so I go car 1 and car 2, and then we have the speed, then the distance, and then the time. Now the speeds are your miles per hour. You have 80 and 75. Okay, now the distance traveled. Okay, I don't know the distance traveled, but I know one faster car travels 40 miles further. So we put X and X, and we add 40 to the X that is with the higher speed right there. So plus 40. Well, I don't know anything about the time. Okay, so I come up here, and I see that time is equal to distance divided by speed. So my distance is X plus 40, and the speed is 80. because you can't actually divide them, not with the x there, so you make it into a ratio. X, 75. Okay, we want to figure out when these are equal, so then we set them equal to each other. X plus 40 over 80 equals x over 75. Okay, I can't cross multiply and divide. I have to use the ABCD method. A times B, C times D. So A is going to be 1x plus 40. B is going to be 75. C is going to be 1x, and D is going to be 80. So we distribute the 75. So 75 times 1x is 75x. And we take 75 times 40, and that's going to be 3,000. And 1x times 80 is 80x. Okay. Now take your smaller x to 0 when there are two of them on opposite sides. So we take that to 0 by subtracting. And that's 5x. So you got 3,000 equal to 5x. So it's 5 times x. I don't have to add. I don't have to subtract anymore. I just divide by 5. Okay, 3,000 divided by 5 is going to be 600, I believe. And then the other one simply went 40 more miles. So if x is 600, 600 plus 40 is 640.